What's up, everybody? Welcome back to Screenwork Entertainment. Today we are going over episode 7 of Andor. FYI, there will be spoilers, major spoilers ahead. So, this episode starts off, we get to see the aftermath of the heist. I thought it was pretty cool. I was into it. But the one thing that I did not, that took me a while to get, maybe you did the same, was whenever we first see Vel. Did you recognize her?
Yeah,
I was like, who is that?
yeah, yeah.
Yeah, I was like, "Oh, damn, that's Vel." She looks totally different. It's crazy.
Well, yeah, because she's got makeup and
Yeah,
decent
I mean,
clothes on.
yeah, exactly. Yeah, I know. I was like, "Man, she looks completely different." I was very surprised. But anyways, this episode starts up with our favorite ex
Your
commander.
buddy Cyril.
Yeah, Cyril, and then we get his mom. Dude, it's so funny. His
She
mom
just picks
talking about his
right
collar.
up where she left off,
I know. I know. I love that.
just nagging the hell out of him.
We see the cereal again, the blue milk, and he's like, "You know what? I'm done with this. Why are you even asking me about my collar?" It was so funny. And he's like, "Well, what does that mean to you?" Well, that means you're insecure, this and that, blah 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 blah. You can just see he's just like, "I gotta get out of here. I have to get out of this place." Yeah, that was. I liked it how it brought that back. That was awesome.
Yeah, right. I just that lady's just a great actress because she annoys the hell out of me.
Yeah, yeah, she is. Yep. We still don't see his uncle though. It's kind of bummed. I was hoping to see his uncle.
Yeah,
They
but
keep
he did get a
mentioning it.
job.
Yeah, he got a job. He's got one of those like horrible jobs where you just 1,000 people in the same type of desk, just pushing buttons.
It's Office Space, man, and
Yeah, yeah, office space in space.
Star Wars Office Space.
Yes, exactly. Yeah, yeah. So it looks like he's gonna be in hell, but this is his way
Well,
of.
that's the way I took it because we're we're jumping way ahead, but
Yeah, it's moving ahead.
directly before that is when Cassian gets sentenced to prison, and then it switches over to Cyril, and he's in his own prison. That's the way I took it.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that's pretty touche. I was thinking more like maybe he was gonna come across Cassian.
Oh
Like
no,
maybe he would.
it's just the juxtaposition of their stories.
Okay. Yeah, yeah. I like that. I like that. But
That's the way
we
I
all.
interpreted it, but I could be way wrong.
No, I agree with you there. You're right because he acted like because the way they did that whole scene with him and his new job is like he's in prison. And yeah, then I got to the end. We see Cassian goes to prison or jail or whatever. Yeah, prison. What, for 6 years?
Yeah.
Yeah. But
Yeah, but
well, anyways, we see the
we
aftermath.
jumped straight from the first scene to the very last, so let's
Yeah.
back up. Uh,
Yeah, like I said, spoilers.
yeah, lots of spoilers. Uh, yeah, so after we leave Karn, we go to the ISB where they're still all hands on deck, and we
Yeah.
find out that the Emperor has okayed pretty much uh, their version of the Homeland Defense Act.
Yeah. I like how they were dropping his name, their emperor. That's all I gotta do is drop his name, and you're like, "Oh god, that guy."
Yeah, there
You
was
know something. Oh.
3 Emperor drops in this episode, which is the first time that he was even brought up.
Yeah, exactly.
But yeah, so
But
they have the ISB has access to all military information now since that navigation thing that Cassian had came from a naval base and they weren't able to track where it actually came from and everything. Now they're able to put those points together.
well, and also the new rules that they came up with, the new laws or whatever, the tribute tax equal to 5 times the amount that was stolen.
Yeah,
I was like, wow, yeah, they
and
ain't playing around.
bumping up all prisons and jail sentences.
Yeah, everything. It said the use of local custom festivals or
Yeah,
traditions. Anything
using
that's
those as
has.
cover like they did for the
Yeah,
heist.
yeah, yeah. So they are pissed. So after we get all the the taxes and everything that they're now going to be implementing, we go back to Mon Monta shows up at Luthen's. He's in the back, listening to the radio. He wants to know what's going on, and she shows up. Now I thought she was part of this. Like I thought she knew about it, but she had no idea
Yeah,
what he was
no,
doing.
and she was pissed.
Yeah, she was very pissed. I guess because that's the position puts her in, and she's already been watched by her driver and her husband and everything else. So she just puts her in more of a position. And I guess was taking money out of her inheritance and given to him for this whole cause.
No, not yet. That's what she's trying to do.
That's what she's trying to do. Okay, I thought
That's
maybe she's been doing that, but now she's having a hard time.
No, she has been raising funds under the guises of these BS foundations, but yeah, that's her ultimate goal is that's which we'll get to here in just a little bit. But yeah, Mon
Yeah.
shows up and jumps his ass for not warning her about this. And he's been preaching about to her about bringing in people, but he's just brought in 7 people. He's definitely not practicing what he preaches, but they got a shitload of money to fund this thing now.
Yeah, they got a lot of money now. Yes, they do. So yeah, we see Cinta, and we finally see that cool scene in the trailer where she's looking up at that. Was that a destroyer?
A Star
That big ship?
Destroyer, yeah.
Same thing. Yeah, it's close enough.
N
Like I've been seeing that for like forever. That's that same trailer, and we finally see it in this scene. And and also, I was going to tell you in last episode, I rewatched it,
Mhm,
and whenever she has the family tied up in
yeah,
that building, we see just them looking out at the eye, and then we see like the next scene, like a little bit after, we see her, or we don't see her in there, but we see her walking out, leaving. So I
mhm.
don't think she killed the I don't think she killed everybody. I didn't see her in that scene, like with the whole family with her. They're still tied up, but I didn't see her in that building. But I saw her, shortly after walking out, but I didn't see her in that building. So I don't think she killed everybody.
I don't know, yeah, that's still something we don't know. We don't know who survived. We just know that the Empire from
Wait,
from the transmission that Luthen heard before Mon Mothma showed up was that all of the officers have been relieved and or have been replaced, and they're all being interrogated by the ISB.
well, we also know Goran and Skeen is dead, so we do know that for a fact. 'Cause they did say that whenever Val was talking to that new chick.
That was Luthen's assistant.
Oh, is that who that was?
Yes.
Oh, okay. I couldn't figure out who that was.
Well, we got to back up just a little bit because once we leave Luthen and Mon, we go to Cyril, where he's kind of, I don't know, interviewing or not for a job with the Empire in the Bureau of Standards. And then
Yes.
and then the guy walking him around kind of asks about the whole Ferrex ordeal, and he has to explain what happened. And then that guy's like, well, Cyril says that he's going to clear his name and get it expunged. And then that guy's like, well, why don't we just start that right now?
Yeah, I know. I know. Did you notice the job that they gave him?
Fuel purity.
Yeah, yeah. It sounds amazing, stimulating.
Yeah.
I know.
Yeah.
I like that little robot in the middle. It's just I guess they have to pay it mine because he was not getting out of the way and he had to go around it.
No, see, that's the funny thing, actually. If you go back and watch the other Star Wars movies, those little I don't even know what they're called. They remind me of like a little mouse or something. Uh,
Yeah.
but most of the time those things just avoid the people. That's what I thought was funny is that Cyril was so insignificant that this fucking droid wasn't even getting out of the way for him. He had to get out of the way for it.
Yeah, that is pretty funny actually, yeah. Yeah, I like that.
But
I
yeah,
really like that.
when we leave there, we go over uh to Miro. That's when she goes to that. I don't know who that guy was actually, but she asked him to compile info for this report so she can tie all this stuff together.
Yeah, she asked for all the star systems,
Yeah.
or he's like, "Which ones?" She's like, "All of them." He's like, "Jesus Christ."
Yeah. And
Yeah,
so she can show that there's a pattern and that they're trying to play within the borders or use their districts against themselves.
yeah. She's the only one, or I still think that other guy is a spy.
Blevin,
Yeah, yeah, Blevin. I still
which
think he's like,
from this one, it kind of made me think that too because he was so eager. But then again, he could just be one of these little fucking brown nosers that always tries to get people in trouble to make himself look good.
yeah, it could be. I don't know. Ever since I've been watching this, I got the feeling that there's someone there in that building in that area who's a spy for the rebels, and I
Well,
really think it's
that's
him.
and obviously there is because they say because the who is it Partagas, Major Partagas, he because when the in one of the meetings a little bit later, and when Miro's explaining all of this, and he asks or says that they're asked if they're using their districts, their territories against themselves, against the ISB.
Okay,
So
yeah,
somebody has to know where these district lines are drawn so they can stay so they don't cross over and form any pattern. Because she says they're only hitting stuff once.
yeah,
So they're not going back. So there's not a pattern within that district. But if you look at all the districts as a whole, you can probably see the patterns. And that's what she's doing.
yeah. And then she got his whole area. The guy just gave it to her.
Yeah.
He also tells her to watch her back. You should watch your back.
Yeah. Blevin tries to get her in trouble, and Partagaz turns it around and takes that area from him and gives it to Miro.
Which really gonna piss him off. I really think he's working for the rebels. I really do. So I guess we'll see
It could
eventually.
be. And then we skipped over, well, we kind of touched on it earlier, where Clea meets up with Vel.
I wish it was completely different,
Yeah. But
but
pretty much the gist of that meeting is don't try to reach out to Senta because transmitting and receiving messages will get you caught, and that they got to deal with a loose end, which is Cassian.
yeah, which I thought was messed up. Now, even more so now that I know he is working with the other guy, Luthen. So, because that means Luthen says get rid of him.
Yeah,
So
well,
if she's saying
because he
that,
said
so
in the was it the last episode that yeah that was his loose end was
yeah, but I was hoping maybe he wouldn't go
yeah
that route.
yeah, and then when we show back up with Cassian, he's back on Ferrix,
We
and
see
he's
Bix.
well, he first shows up at his mom's house, and he's trying to convince Marva.
You sure it's not Bix shows up first?
No, he goes to his mom's house first because he tries to convince Marva to just go now. He explains he ran into money. There's nothing for her there. Let's go. And that's when she says, "Well, I'm tired, or I get tired." And he's like, "Yeah, we'll wait until the morning, and we'll leave first thing in
Ah,
the
okay.
morning." And then that's when he goes to Bix. But Marva also tells him that it was Tim that ratted him out. Then he goes over to Bix's, and that's where we find out that everybody's blaming him for the Empire coming in.
Yep. And she looks like she's been all beaten up. So I guess it hasn't been too long after this whole ordeal
Well,
has
no,
happened
because
with.
right after it's only been, it's not even been a week.
Well, she still looked pretty beat up. Like I guess from watching it from week to week to week to week, it feels like it's been forever.
Yeah, but in the timeline there, it hasn't been a week.
Yeah.
Because when he
Okay.
showed up on Aldani, they only had 3 days before the heist,
Yeah, that's right.
and then he
That's right.
left straight from the heist, well, after killing Skeen, he went back to Ferrex. So, all in all, from the time all that crap went down to him showing back up, might be a week max.
Yeah, yeah, it makes sense because she still looked pretty rough. She was still pretty pissed at him.
Yeah, and then also, we find out that they were a couple at one point in time.
Yeah, well, I kind of figured that out
Well, yeah, but
before.
you knew something was there, but you weren't for sure what. If there was just mutual admiration, but they were actually an item for a little bit.
Yeah,
And then he tells Bix, if she talks to Luthen, to tell him he only took what he was owed and to forget about him.
yep. We know that's not gonna happen.
Nope. And then the one scene that it had the best line in it for me is Mon Mothma's party.
Oh yeah, the party. She's there with that new guy that we meet.
Yeah, Tay, her
Yeah,
school,
Tay.
her friend from school growing up,
Never mind.
and he's a banker on Chandrilla.
So is he playing her to get
N-
information, or is he really?
no, no, that is her friend. They grew up together. Because she needs somebody to access this money, her family's money. That's why she's going after addressing him because he's a banker.
I was unclear if.
Yeah, because he's a banker on Chandrilla, and she's wanting to open up a foundation that's about Chandrilla, and he's going to head it. So he'll be able to pump the money into it and still be able to come to Coruscant for meetings and whatnot. So nothing really looks suspicious. But yeah, what
Okay,
I thought
yeah,
was
makes
funny
sense.
was he's talking about how he doesn't like the Empire and tells her, my politics might be strong for your taste. And then
Yeah,
she, and she's just chuckling inside. And then she
yeah,
goes into her spiel, and he's wanting to know exactly what it is. And she tells him that it's better that he doesn't know. And that's when he said, when she says, my politics may be a little strong for your taste.
yeah. Well, I thought it was interesting that she said, smile. My husband will come in. He doesn't. I don't trust him. He doesn't know. He knows nothing of this. Just
Well,
smile.
that's what I told you. I
Yeah.
suspect that
Yeah.
he's
You're
a
right. Yeah.
spy from that
Yep.
car ride because it keeps pretend. I honestly think that's an act that he doesn't know the uh, driver's name.
Oh yeah. I think he does because in that whole party, he is just
Yeah,
watching her like a
that's
hawk.
his thing. Well, that's his thing. Is he's all about appearances and he knows people's name. That's all he does. Is he's looking for ways to use people to climb the social ladder.
Yep.
But
Even his own wife.
the the best line in the episode though was Mon talking about something she learned from the Emperor, and that's that she'll show you the stone in my hand, so you miss the knife at your throat.
Wow. That's a line from the emperor.
Well, that's what she's learned from watching the Emperor
Oh, okay. I got you.
because he pretended to be all about the Republic and whatnot, and then turned it into an empire with him being the only controlling figure.
Yeah. Yeah. I got you. Huh. Yeah. That was a pretty good line. I don't remember her even saying that.
Oh yeah. I was like, yeah, as soon as I heard that, I was like, oh, that's the shit. That's pretty friggin' ruthless, man. So that's when we go to Cassian at Bix. And when he's leaving Bix, that's when he actually sees the aftermath with
Yeah.
stormtroopers everywhere.
Which
And then,
they still look awesome. The stormtroopers, they look awesome.
yeah, and then that reminds him of his father because he has a little flashback where it shows the real Clem getting gunned down by clone troopers.
Yeah, just for trying to help a couple of people or try to get them from throwing rocks at
Yeah,
the
he was trying to
troopers.
get
Yeah,
them to stop, and they thought he was the one doing it and blasted him.
yeah, yeah. It's messed up.
Yeah. And then,
Well, Marva, we go back to Marva's,
yeah,
and she says what she's gonna do. She wants to join the rebels. I'm like, oh,
yeah,
I
which
like it.
is which is so confusing for Cassian because he's just about the money. Because he's saying it was just a robbery,
Yeah, yeah, exactly. He's trying to, hey,
and
don't think too much into this.
and uh, and basically his actions are what keeps her from joining him, which is kind of ironic.
Well, she doesn't even know that he's the one who did the heist.
Well,
She's all
yeah,
like,
because
did you hear about this heist? People are rising up. People are doing things. I would have thought he would have said, it was me." All it was, he did say it was just a robbery, but I thought
yeah.
he would have said it was him.
Well, no, he's not gonna put that out in the ethos.
I guess put her in that much more
Yeah,
danger if she knows.
yeah, and yeah, she wants to join the rebellion because now, and it's funny because he's just all about the money. There's no cause for him. But
He wants to take the
sh-
money and go retire. That's what he wants to do.
yeah, and but this showed her that it just revived her cause and makes her
Yeah.
think about Clem to where now she's brave enough and proud because other people are standing up to the Empire to where she can actually walk through the square where he was hung.
But she does say one important thing. She says, "Stop looking for your sister.
Yes.
She is not out there," which I actually kind of forgot about her sister until this episode.
Yeah, I know, because they just left all that stuff behind in the first 3 episodes. We have all those
Hmm.
flashbacks and then nothing.
And nothing. Yep.
But, right after that is when there's a flashback of him going after those clone troopers. Did you catch that?
Well, I guess not.
Yeah, there's a very short little scene of him right after Clem got killed, where he's just enraged and he has, I don't know, some kind of weapon, uh, and he's going walking up to those clone troopers, and being that that's about the same age, that's probably what got him thrown into jail as a kid.
Oh, that was him. Okay, yeah,
Yeah,
yeah. I do know what you're talking about now. Okay, yeah, yeah, yeah. I got you.
yeah. So now we know why he was in jail as a kid.
Okay, yeah, yeah. Okay, yeah. That's I didn't realize that was him
And then we follow up with him later hanging out on a beach planet.
with some
Mm.
chick.
Yeah. Yeah, in a hotel room with some strange lady that we haven't met yet.
Looking in his little box of trinkets, his weapons, and it's like he was grabbing some.
Yeah, he was grabbing some money.
And then I did not. Whenever he leaves, and we see that droid, I was
Mhm.
like, "Oh, that's the droid from Rogue One." I was like, "Oh,
Yeah.
wait a second, he hasn't been turned yet. He
Yeah,
hasn't
one
been
of those
programmed yet."
KX units.
Yeah. So hopefully we get to see him maybe next season or sometime.
Eventually we will because
Yeah,
yeah, he
eventually
was
we will.
with him there at the
At the
beginning of Road
beginning. So
1
yeah.
and next season's supposed to where it ends is right at the beginning of Rogue One. So, speaking of Rogue One,
But I watched Rogue One. So
holy shit!
yeah,
It's
we'll go
about
over it
fucking
too.
time.
Yeah, yeah, no.
What'd you
But
think?
fucking amazing.
That's pretty good.
It
Oh,
was
oh, oh,
pretty good.
oh, 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 shit! Because I want to know what you thought about that fucking Vader scene at the end.
So the Vader scene, yeah, was badass. Yeah, that Vader scene, he looked so much cooler in that Vader scene than he did on anything of the original movies.
I
You
told
know what
you,
I mean?
man. Just that minute or two scene is worth the price of admission for that
Oh
whole
yeah,
movie.
yeah. That was
But the
badass.
movie
Yes,
in and of itself is good too.
yes. Really, I was very surprised. It was very good.
But see, the thing is, the guy that did the movie is the showrunner for the show.
Oh really?
Yeah,
Okay,
yeah, Gilroy,
okay.
Tony Gilroy.
See, that movie really shows you how you can have a female lead and be done correctly. She doesn't have to be smug and better at everything than everybody. She's not Gladriel. I just fucking stand her. It's just that shows you can do it. You can do it
Well,
correctly, and you can be good.
yeah,
You know what I
as long as
mean?
you have a good writing staff,
Yes,
which
yes.
Lord of the Rings damn sure does not.
No, they do not. But
Or
that
not Lord of
ending,
the
that
Rings,
movie,
Rings of Power.
yeah, Rings of Power. Yeah, yeah, fucking Rings of Power. Oh, yeah, and She Hulk. Yeah, yeah, both of them.
Don't even get me started on that horse shit.
But the ending of that movie was pretty powerful.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah,
yeah,
so now you know what happens with him.
yeah, yes. I did not see that coming. Like, I thought maybe him, but not her. Yeah, that's. But there's one like really cringe moment in that movie whenever we see the princess
Oh, yeah.
at the end. Dude, that CGI did not look good. That CGI was RUFF.
Yeah.
It was not good.
Well, see, my thing is, because I don't know if you can still find it, but the trailers for that movie, there was a scene that thank God it was cut out, because it portrayed that female lead. I can't even remember what the character's name is right now, Jen or so. Uh, it portrayed her as that cocky female lead that just kind of gets annoying because
Yeah, yeah.
there was one part in the trailer. I can't remember what it said, but she says, "I rebel," and I was like, "Oh God, that's so douchey."
Douche chill.
But they cut it out, thank God. But yeah, and in that movie, we get to see uh, the current Mon Mothma because she played Mon in that movie too.
Did she? I don't guess I
Yeah, it's the
saw it.
same character
Okay, maybe
or
I did. I
same
just don't
actress. I'm
remember.
sorry.
Yeah,
Of
yeah.
course, it's the
Huh.
same fucking character, but yeah, same
Well, I
actress.
was wondering if we're gonna see anybody else, from that
Yeah,
movie.
Saw is gonna show up.
But what about her dad, the guy who's creating the?
Oh, probably not. What is it? Galen or something? Galen or so.
Yeah, he's one of my favorite actors. I love that dude. Man, he's such a good actor.
Yeah. Yeah,
Did you watch?
they just had a good cast for that movie, man.
Yeah, yeah, they did. Yeah, they did. Really good cast. And then I don't know. I've never seen. I know this guy from some other movie, Cassian, whatever movie he's from. I can't think of what it is, like where I know him from.
Oh, did you ever watch Narcos?
Yes, yes, that's what it is.
Yeah.
Okay, yes, that's where I knew him from. Okay, yeah, it was a good movie. Really, really good movie. I was surprised. I was
Yeah.
like, man, why can they all be this good?
Yeah, like I can't remember who said it. One of my buddies said the ultimate Star Wars trilogy is Rogue One, Star Wars, and Empire.
That's a lot to say. that's
Yeah.
a that's a
Yeah,
lot to
because
say right there. It's
because
a
a
lot
bunch
of
of people
movies.
because a bunch of people get pissy about Return of the Jedi because of the Ewoks and how campy it can get, but I
Yeah,
still love the original trilogy regardless. But yeah, I did
it's
enjoy Rogue One, but it did create a little bit of a Vader problem because he was so badass in that. But
yeah,
and then in Star Wars, he was just kind of lame.
just a menacing figure. He just
Yeah.
looked badass. But I guess if you have a 70-year-old man playing him, then you know it's not gonna look
Well, he wasn't
that awesome.
70 in the 70s.
Yeah, I'm not saying I know it wasn't Earl Jones playing it. He was a voice, but like the
Yeah.
actual actor playing him,
Well, he
I
wasn't
don't
that
know.
old. He was
Well, he
like
moved like he was.
well, he was a bodybuilder. I think he was like a British bodybuilder.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
What was it? The mountain?
No.
No, that would be a badass Vader.
Jesus Christ.
Vader on steroids.
Just imagine what a hulking figure that would be. Jesus.
Jesus, I know. I know. Man, that would be awesome.
So yeah, let's get back to the show. So when he's on this planet, he's going by the name of Keith. Ultimately, he's going to the store to get something, and something was happening.
He was just walking. Like,
Yeah,
there was
well,
someone else running. Like there
well,
was someone
yeah,
else
something
running,
was
but
happening, and these guys were running, and the sand troopers were chasing after him. Well, that gets him nervous, so he tries to go another way, and he's a little spooked, so he's looking over his shoulder quite a bit, and that caught the attention of a sand trooper, and he starts asking him, what are you looking out for? Why are you sweating? You been running?" Thinking that he's part of this group that was obviously doing some anti-imperial demonstration, because ultimately that's what he's charged with later on.
yeah, but they were told to just crack down as hard as you can.
Well, yeah, and
All the
that's
troopers.
why, because these charges would have only been 6 months, a 6 month sentence, but now it's 6 years.
Yeah, which is that's crazy. Yeah. And whenever that ending pops up and it shows how many years he got, he's just like, "What?" And then it like ends. I was like, "Geez, what an ending was that, man?"
Yeah, so and then after he's sentenced, and then we directly cut to Karn in his dead end job filling in
In prison,
prison, like we've
yeah,
already talked about. But I'm curious because they seem to be doing quarters. I'm wondering if episode 9 isn't going to end up with like a jailbreak or something, getting him out of prison.
yeah. That's what I was wondering. The next two episodes, him in prison, and the last one, him jailbreak.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm intrigued. They've got me
Yeah,
hooked, man.
yeah. You're right. Me too.
I love the show. Love it.
I mean, especially watching Rogue One. Now I can have a little bit more of a context of what on everything on him and the whole story,
Yeah.
where it's leading up to. Yeah, yeah. I'm definitely hooked. It's really good. It's really, really good.
Yeah, and I'm getting close to saying that this is better than Mandalorian.
Ooh, those a big word, son.
Yeah, I know, but it's thought out, it's well written, because there's some stumbling block. There's times that Mandalorian stumbles, especially in that first season. Uh, but this one hasn't really let me down. Yeah, I was kind of bummed the way episode 4 was, because they gave us 3 all at once, so we had the 2 plotline episodes before the big action episode, and then we're just stuck with a plotline episode, so I was kinda bummed about that, but now I've tempered my expectations, so I know I know the beats that they're making, but yeah, I'm still just intrigued. I really dig it.
Yeah, it's a pretty awesome show. But there is one thing on this episode that kind of bugged me.
What was that?
Uh, whenever Mon Mothma's at her party
Uh-huh.
and the camera's panning around at all the people, we see one lady. She's like a insect alien type woman. She looks so out of place and didn't look very good. The makeup on her or whatever. She looked
Yeah.
very. It just looked ridiculous.
The
I'm just
one
like, what? Why? Why is she here?
The one alien that really jumped out at me in this episode was right when they go to that kind of Florida type planet that Cassian's hiding out on. Uh, when it jumps to a beach scene, it has this like old lady sucking down a drink, and it's got this one alien that just looks like a giant penis right there. I'm just I'm just fucking laughing. That's the one that just he caught me. It made me laugh. I was like, "Oh my god."
All right, guys. Well, that's our take on episode 7 of Endor. It's freaking awesome. Freaking rocks. I can't wait to see the next episode. and see what happens to Endor when he's in prison. So they might get a little rough. It's gonna be like that show on HBO, the old
What,
school
Oz?
Oz. Yeah, it's gonna be Star Wars beats Oz. Anyways, that's all our thoughts. Have a good night. Peace out, guys.